What is up, EOP sports fans? It's Wednesday night. It's 8:30. It's time for EOP. I'm Big Al.
And I'm Joey Shear.
And unfortunately, the Fandemic crew couldn't make it tonight. Last minute cancel. Some personal stuff came up. But we will have them on again. Hopefully, we can talk about further Phillies conversation into next week. And we might be talking it over the weekend as well because, as you know, your Fighting Phils have made it to the playoffs for the first time in 11 years. Man. 11 years ago was the last time we faced the St. Louis Cardinals and Albert Pujols. And again, we are facing St. Louis Cardinals and Albert Pujols 11 years later for the first time.
Both times allegedly on steroids. I'm just going to put that out there. I'm going to put that out there now.
Man, he had a resurgence, man. I thought there was no way he was hitting 700, let alone what's he at 706?
To be honest with you, I stopped paying attention after 700.
Yeah, he hit at least another couple dingers between now and then.
It was just last week that he hit 700, and I meant to bring him up during the show, but you and I talked about it off air. We were talking about the ball number 700 and the fan catching it, and him just getting the hell out of there because he refused to give it back to I guess the organization to give back to Albert and just decide what he wants to do.
He's got money in his hand.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He got the hell out of that stadium. And I saw a lot of people congratulating him on it. You were kind of on the side of that too. It's basically hitting the lottery. I was more of the, why not just give it back to him? It's not I get the whole greed part of it, but I also get the part of it just being a nice person and giving the guy back his achievement. But I mean, that's not what we're getting into right now. So
no, but yeah, I mean, you make a good point. I mean, if I'm the organization, I really want it, I'm like, all right, we got to offer this guy. You offer something out of that. We got an offer for you. We're not just going to make you give it up for free. But no, whatever. To each his own on that situation. But I mean, give Albert Pujols a round of applause in career situation. I kind of, when we were talking off air, I kind of likened him to Freddie Freeman. I said I never liked the guy because he was always kicking our asses at times. But this time, he's going to go.
He's still kicking our asses.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully not this weekend, but
no.
But I mean, now, do you think he plays one more year again?
No, this is it.
I just thought maybe because he's close to it, that Barry Bonds number. I mean, if he has 706, he's 19 away?
Again,
20 away, something like that.
I don't even know what they count anymore, especially with what the hell has happened over the past few days with Aaron Judge hitting 62, everyone acting like he's the home run king, but we know that Bonds has the record for 73 in a season. Asterisks or not, he still hit the number, and that's what the record is at. So it's number 62 by Judge is being celebrated more than what the actual record is. So I don't even know what the hell people are going by these days. Is it Barry Bonds' total in the 700 is going to be lived up if Pujols gets even close to it? Is he going to be the new home run king? I don't know what people are expecting these days.
Yeah, no, I mean, most people say, listen, the record's the record. Oh, 762. Nah, he's probably not going to do it. No. I thought it was close. I thought it was 720 something for whatever reason. But yeah, no, I mean, they always say the record's the record, no matter what the situation with the steroids is. They're not going to take it away. Just like if we talked about this real quick. We said the Houston Astros were caught cheating, but they're still World Series champions. So maybe there's an asterisk next to it, but he still owns the record.
And that's been proven.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Bonds, we think that steroids hasn't been officially proven, though.
Yeah.
Has it?
No, he admitted
he had it. Okay.
I mean, I think they've all admitted to it by now. Sosa, him, McGuire.
Yeah, but what they were doing, especially McGuire, it was legal. Or I don't want.
Well, no.
Yes, it was. It was allowed.
Not the whole time. Andros was not.
Yes, it was.
Originally it was, but they took it away. It's the whole
right
thing.
After he came out saying that's what he was using at the time. He wasn't doing anything wrong.
So just to give you a little, and this is the 5 seconds we're going to give Albert Pujols his due, and that's about it.
Sure.
The rest of it, I'm going to hope we put our foot in his throat, and he never wants to play baseball again. MLB all-time leaders, number one, a guy named Henry Aaron. I believe they called him Hank.
Sure.
Number 3 was Mr. Baby Ruth. Love this candy bar. And number 2, Albert Pujols. So he is number 2 all-time RBI leader. So I mean,
wow, that's pretty cool.
He's only 2 past Babe Ruth. He could, if he played another year, maybe become number 1. He's 22-16, and Hank Aaron was 22-97.
Yeah, there's no way this guy comes back.
He would have to have an 81 RBI season. That would yeah. So that would be not impossible, but not easy either.
Yeah, no, he went back to St. Louis. This was the swan song. It was the farewell tour.
But we've seen that
everybody
before.
knew it. True, but I mean, I don't know. I honestly do think he's going to ride out into the sunset.
I think so.
I mean, them making the playoffs, winning their division, I think that's just like the cherry on top. Could he have come back because he was chasing 700? Absolutely. He really wasn't that far from it. A lot of people weren't even sure he was going to get to it, but he did, and he got past, and congratulations to him. But this is the last year, and this is the end of the road for you, Mr. Pujols.
So here,
steroid alleged user.
Before we get into the sponsor, so this is his career numbers. Ready? As of this morning, he's played 3,080 games.
Wow.
He's had 13,000 plus plate appearances. His career average is 296 for that many games, that many years.
That's impressive.
That's impressive. A 374 OBP, a 918 OPS, 3,384 hits, 703 home runs. So he's at 703. 686 doubles, 2,218 RBIs, 1,914 runs scored, 1,373 walks, and 316 intentional walks. So, an illustrious career to say to us, but I hope from now on.
And I will put on the record that I am joking about the whole steroid thing.
It's hopefully the rest of it's a stopping.
Yeah.
From here on out, you are my enemy. And I want you destroyed.
The Phils have won the season series.
Don't mean nothing right now.
I understand that.
Clean slate. Bud.
I understand that completely. But when on paper, if I'm looking at Mets, Braves, or Cardinals, I'm taking the Cardinals. That's who I want.
I have a theory, and I'll get to that in a second. I have a theory about that. But the one good theory I do, it's not even a theory, I can tell you for a fact, Dolan's Bar, the Mostoco Bar, is the best place to watch it. One of the best places to watch the game because they have those delicious wings. They have Wolf Superior sandwiches there. Sometimes you hang out with Hollis Thomas if he's in town to watch the game. He's going to be there. It's also their big day for them because it's the Ridley Fall Festival. I'll be there at Dolan's for that. So, like, bring your family, bring your kids. You can eat outside. The game's on out there. It's a great time. Come down Dolan's Bar, 24 East Sellers Avenue, right in Ridley Park. All these away games are available. Philly Sports Trips is on. I guess they're not in. I guess they're going to be on their way to Arizona either today or tomorrow. I forget what it was. A full slate of things there. Even PSG's having some charity mini golf thing going on there. It's kudos to him. They're doing that. I believe Hollis is going to be there. Seth Joyner is going to be hanging out with them. So it's going to be a good time. And Philly Sports Trips, check out all the away games, some bus trips. I know the New York one's the big one if you want to take a little bit more closer trip. And all the home games are at the Gatehouse at the Navy Yard. Check it out. And don't forget David R. Cherry. I just talked to him today. He is loving being a sponsor here at EOP. 610-565-0300. He said, guys, continue to give him calls about your workers' compensation, your motor vehicle accidents, your personal injury, and your criminal law needs. cherryinjurylaw.com. And guys, I'm just going to show it to you because there's no reason to read it to you. This is your lineup this week.
This is what we'll read Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, every day, EOPsports.com.
The Sixers are playing tonight, so if you're watching a little preseason Sixers ball, mute the game, tune into us. We'll talk along with you. You're going to have all the finals from them with the guys from the Painted Lines, the Fightins finals, and then, of course, the Eagles pre-halftime and post, brought to you by the Painted Lines and Edge of Philly Sports, which has been just phenomenal. And thank you to South House for having us this past week. What a great time. Can't believe it. Juiced balls. The Phillies won the series, but have not faced any of the current pitching staff besides Nicholas. I'm curious who they start. Freddie's curious who the Cardinals start.
Well, yeah, I mean, they were saying Wainwright is the predictable one, but I heard that St. Louis said they're not starting with him. So
I'd rather start. I would hope they start Wainwright.
I honest to God, I don't think it matters. I really don't.
You have this one in your head.
I'm
being honest. Be honest with us, Joe.
Like, I don't want to go in there overconfident. I just see this team rising to the challenge, rising to the occasion. Do I think it goes 3 games? I do. I don't know which one the Phillies
does. Just so you know, if it does. So for first part, I know we had this conversation earlier through a text. The Phillies' first game is at 2:07 on Friday. Right. So tell your boss you're not feeling too well. Leave early. Go catch the game. And like I said, the Pandemic crew isn't here, but they have an event. You can actually go down to Citizens Bank Park and hang out with them and watch the game there. They have TVs and everything set up for it. And then Game 2 on Saturday will be at 8:37 on ESPN2. And Game 3, if needed, will also be at 8:37. Perfect timing.
Yeah.
Eagles game's over, right into Phillies baseball. You may want to call out on Monday.
Oh, that's a great idea. I'm not even joking.
Freddie's saying, I hope it's Wainwright too. ERA is like 8 in September. They are nuts to do that, but agreed, Joe. That's what the rumor is.
Yeah, I mean that's what I read earlier.
We handled him when we faced him. Fine.
I don't know, man. He
gives up long balls, and that's what we live off of.
This is all right. If St. Louis, in my opinion, was in a better division, and I know that's hard to say because not a lot of divisions out there were a juggernaut like the NL East. But I do think that it was because of their division that the Cardinals won their division. I mean, we were in a back and forth with them through the wild card until they took that extra step back, and they played better than the bottom feeders in their division. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to on paper, the Cardinals and the Phillies, I'm not too worried. Like I'm not saying that the Phillies are flat out going to win this series. I do think it's going to be a tough series. It's going to be close. We're going to be biting our nails. We're going to be crapping our pants, edge of our seat, all of it. It's going to go 3 games, I honestly believe. But when it comes to, again, Braves, Mets, or Cardinals, I think we stack up best against the Cardinals, especially for this wild card weekend in a best of 3.
Okay. Joe, listen, I'm not like, this is going to be such a listen, I can't say I 100% feel good either way. I think this is kind of down the middle. Yeah. Like these teams can go either way. I think it's going to be a battle. I think it's going to be a 3-game series.
I'm praying that it is, to be honest with you, because I can't, with everything going on, I cannot believe that the first time the Phillies in the playoffs in 11 years, and I'm not going to be able to watch Game 2. I'm going to WWE Extreme Rules at the Wells Fargo Center. I did not know that
because I actually wanted to take my kid there. They're not big into wrestling, but I thought it would be cool to go live.
Yeah. I
completely missed the bus on that one.
Me and my 2 buddies and my buddy's kid, and my buddy's kid doesn't know about it, so we're surprising him with it.
Okay.
And we're all jazzed about this, and then I see the schedule, and I'm like, oh shit. And usually I would be like, canceling it. I'm watching the game, blah, blah, blah. But now I'm to the point where it's like, okay, I'm a father. I get these things. And I'm like, I can't believe I'm missing Game 2. So that's why I'm like, I hope it goes to Game 3 because I want the Eagles game to go right into the Phillies game and we can have an all-day Sunday fun day. And, of course, the Phillies come out victorious Sunday night.
So it's all selfish. Got you.
Absolutely. 100%.
Linda's saying, please finish this game in 2 games. She can't handle it.
Well, that's the other thing.
Linda's my girl. I know, Linda. I agree with you. I would like to have this be a little bit smoother, but we all know it will not play out.
Here's my thing. If it does end Saturday night in the Phillies' favor, I'm thinking, all right, great. I'm happy they won because we already have tickets for the next series. So I'm like, okay, now I know that there's an 80% chance we're going to get to that game. And then the other part of it is if they do get swept out, then at least I didn't have to watch that game too.
Oh, jeez.
Again, 100% selfish.
100% selfish. So, yeah, speaking of, I don't know.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I think it was coming through the mic. The headphones, not above you. I think
okay.
There it is. Yeah. So I was going to wait because like I said, originally we had scheduled tonight the Pandemic crew, Brett and Oscar, are going to join us. Like I said, something came up. They couldn't make it. That's okay. We love them anyway. Yeah. And like I said, they're going to be down at CBP watching it out just like they did during the pandemic. But I was going to surprise them because and I'm very positive that we will be using these tickets, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
You know what section I got?
I believe you told me you were in the I'm not even going to name the section it is. I'm just going to say you're in the section of the Fandemic crew.
That's right. I purposely did that knowing that it's going to be rowdy there. It's going to be a good time.
Doesn't matter what number it is. It just matters who's in it.
Listen, I always said this. I mean, CBP is not a bad seat in the house. Really.
No, not at all.
I mean, I've become a little bit of a seat snob in my old age.
100%.
But I was like, okay with it. And you know what? For the cost, it was worth it. I could get a bunch of more tickets than I normally would have. And I already got the blessing from my wife to go without her.
Nice.
I don't know how she's like, I'm going to be busy. I'm like, yes, you will be.
I did at first. And then when my friend, when my wife's friends were going, she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm going now." Like, all right, no problem. Like this is what I did for this series. I figured I'm gonna buy the max to 6 tickets. I bought standing room because I know a bunch of buddies want to go, and my wife and whoever else. And
How much was standing room going for?
$40 each.
Yeah.
So I bought
300 was like 60.
It was less than $300 for all 6.
I'm saying the 300 level was like 60 or 65.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So this was just my idea. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to buy. It's the first time in 11 years. Let me just go with as many people as possible. Buy the 6. I'll distribute them out to friends and family or whatever, even though it's only 6. But then I'm like, all right, well, if they get to the next series, that's when I buy the big tickets. That's when I do the Diamond Club. You know what I mean? Like this first series, let's just get through it.
I don't know if I can do Diamond Club for a playoff. I mean,
I can.
I get expensive.
Yeah, but it would be like a once in a lifetime thing. Like I wouldn't like do it every.
Do you do it for the divisional, or do you say screw it, NLCS or World Series?
I would.
Like if you're going to be spending that kind of money, do you do it for?
In all honesty, I'm doing it for both. I'm doing it for the championship series and the World Series.
In all honesty, you better be careful your wife doesn't pull Giselle on you.
Yeah.
Yeah. On that note, you remember you are live on the air.
Yeah.
But
and I do have a text.
You're in trouble. So I want to go over some things with you because one thing I want to mention is one thing that kind of flew under the radar because we were all so super excited. I remember I had to like run around the house going, yay! It was late. You know, it was late. And I like kind of was waking my wife up. We made the playoffs. Great. You know, he rolls
Lex
back
went
over.
to bed and I was like, you want me to wake you up if they win? And she's like, no. Well, no, I don't want you to do that. Like, you suck.
She told me to leave out her jersey to wear it to work.
Okay.
If we were going. So yeah. So one thing that flew under the radar that night was Aaron Nola's stellar performance.
Yes.
He had 6.2 innings or 6 2/3.
Yeah.
9 strikeouts, 2 hits, 0 walks, 0 earned runs in 88 pitches. Mm-hmm. So he could have definitely went more. You know
what I don't understand?
Yes.
Why do people feel the need to go on social media and remind everybody that there is a perfect game or a no-hitter going on?
Yeah,
because once you put that juju out there, that's it.
It ended.
That's it. And you know what else? I didn't know until the next day that NBC Sports had a little red thing above the Phillies logo in the corner saying "perfect game" through the number. I'm going. I saw a picture of it. It was during the game.
So on the logo,
on the top where the score is, It had a little red tab, and it said "perfect game."
And it was always up, or would they pop up every so often?
Well, the picture I saw, it said "perfect game through 5." So even NBC Sports Philadelphia doesn't get it. You don't speak it into existence. You sit there, you know something magical is going on, you cross your fingers, you say your prayers, you eat your vitamins, and then you just hope that it all works out.
I even get mad about these when it pops up. Oh, well, so even
right.
You get anything for other teams when there's a no with a no or no hitter bid, you get it. Oh, through 7, so and so is pitching a no hitter, and I'm like, even though I really don't care about them, I'm like,
right?
Tell me when it happens. You know, just like with a cycle, he's a triple away from us. Never gonna hit it now.
Right, and listen, we understand that perfect games and no hitters, even from other teams. Like if something's going on and I get a notification, like I'll check into it. Like I'll watch it to see if it happens. Like Fred said on Twitter last night, it said that the Phillies were almost no hit by Verlander, and Fred tweeted that at that point he would have much rather seen the no hitter because that's a feat, that's an achievement by Verlander, one of the best to ever do it. So even though it's your team, your squad, especially the fact that we clinched the playoffs already, if I'm tuning in to watch a Verlander no-hitter, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
And I've even been to a Phillies game against the Red Sox, and it was 2010. I had my season tickets then. I don't even remember who the hell was pitching. but it was
season game.
It was a regular season game, and it was a no-hitter going into the 8th.
Yeah,
going against the Phillies, and at that point, we're just on the edge of our seats, going, "Okay, we get it. We might be seeing." I remember
the postseason. Roy,
the Halladay
one against the Reds, right?
Yeah.
That was Joey Votto and the Reds.
That was a no-hitter. Yeah,
that was what an amazing moment.
The same season as a perfect game.
I remembered. Such a fat kid thing of me, by the way. Like I'm such a fat kid. That was the first. They actually launched the MLB ballpark app.
Okay.
That day, where they deliver the food to your seat.
Nice.
And I ordered like $400 worth of food. I kept buying people with us food because I was just having fun with.
They don't even have that great of food down there.
No,
like $400 worth.
No, the first part it's $40 for a cheeseburger. So
that's
10
fair.
Cheeseburgers later, it's not hard. But my point was like I was ordering. It was like 8 of us in a row. So I'm like, "Oh, you guys want a beer? I got 3 beers. Right, cool." The guy brings it down, and then I'm like, and then I remember the guy with us. They made him go stand in the back. Because he brought up the no.
Really?
Yeah.
Good.
He brought it up. They said no.
Okay, then it's the one time that it didn't matter. But yeah, I just don't get it.
One time.
Like if you've been watching sports long enough.
It's okay. Here's my thing is I think it doesn't get broken up when one guy says it to another or a small group of people. It's when you put it out there online for everybody.
No. And I know why you're saying that. I know why you're saying that because we went to a game. Gibson was on the mound. He had a no-hitter going into like the 7th. And you started talking about it, and me, Spaz, and Hollywood started getting up your ass about it, saying you don't talk it into existence. And then what happened? The no was gone, and it was your fault, and we blamed you the rest of the night. And that's why you're sitting here sticking up for somebody to say, hey, I could say it 6 inches down the line. No, it is never allowed, Al. Never.
It was allowed. Nobody noticed it.
Never.
You didn't even know it until I pointed it out from here. Joe Scores is saying, Joe, I did that for the Eagles-Vikings NFC Championship game. Got 2 club box seats for that, worth every penny.
Yeah.
Joe, if you don't mind, I want to know how much they cost back then. And that was back then. I know it sounds like it's like 30 years ago now. I want to know if he doesn't mind saying on air. I want to know how much you paid for that. Because you imagine if they went to the NFC Championship game this year, it'd probably be twice that, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I remember looking into that game, and club level was a little cheaper. And I'm not saying this to be a bigwig or anything. I usually just go for the lower level, as close to the field as I can get. If I'm spending that type of money, seats, I'm just spending the money. You know what I mean? My
seats cost, I can tell you because I have 8
seats. Yeah.
My seats cost about, it was, after tax, it was $300.
Okay. Yeah.
After tax, it was $300 a seat.
Yeah, I would bet that club level is probably right around $200.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember here you go. $1,800 for the pair.
Holy shit.
Yeah, well, I remember he's buying them outright.
Resale, yeah.
Yeah, resale outright, so I don't. God bless you, Joe.
But hey, no, listen, I agree with you, man.
Go big or go home.
Absolutely.
It's not worth. I mean, for a World Series victory, like the Game 5, you get anywhere you can sit. At that point, buying tickets under a bridge from a guy, whatever it is you're doing.
The difference also is that NFC Championship game. You're getting at home. If you want to go to the Super Bowl, you have to spend triple that to go to a destination. Like in Arizona, like they're going this year. World Series baseball, that you can save your money for the expensive tickets till the World Series. When it comes to NFC Championship, it's no, I can't go to the Super Bowl. I can't travel, so I'm going I'm going balls out on a ticket for this.
He said 2 hours later the prices were over $1,600 a piece.
Wow.
I mean, here's another thing. Have you remember the World Series? Remember the World Series? People are offering $700. Remember Game 5 because you got to go back in. You need your ticket.
Yeah.
Which I laugh at to this day because the way. So when I bought my tickets, I got all the tickets up front for every game.
Right. Yeah.
But when they printed them, whatever they printed them on, everything started to fade.
Oh wow.
The barcode doesn't fade, just the ink that they printed on. So what they do is they scan the barcode, puts the information in the barcode. So when they scan it, they know that's you.
Okay.
So when I had it, my ticket was blank. It was literally you could barely see the etching of the thing. If you see, because I have my tickets still, because we don't get tickets anymore.
I got my ticket.
We don't keep them. My ticket's in a frame.
Mine too.
And if you have to literally bring it up.
I think mine's still okay.
Mine just did whatever that first batch they put out, the ink just didn't sit. They were light to begin with.
Right. Yeah.
And I was like, this could be all right. Ant, haven't heard you a bit.
What up,
what's
dude?
going on? But yeah, no, I mean, I remember like people offering because that game 5, that second half.
Oh
of
yeah,
game 5,
absolutely.
people are offering me a lot. Like, I was like, well, my fandom's in question right now. I got up to like $4,000 for for a half a game, not even a half a game, whatever it would turn out to be. Like for that second part of the game 5, I'm like, how do you like young guy, wife who's pregnant with our second or technically our third kid, my first genetic child. So I'm like, part of me is like, dude, do I do it? By the way, she's just finding out that this happened, so I'm probably going to get in a little trouble. So I'm not back next week. You guys know why. But let's get back to the task at hand. So yeah, Aaron Nola. Another thing that I was like kind of going through all the stats like for the year and just kind of sifting through things. The Phillies have one of the best base running teams in the MLB this year.
Yeah,
top 5. Would you imagine that with the crew that we have? I mean, JT's the fastest catcher, fine,
sure,
but like no, I mean, outside of the young guys like Bryson Stott, maybe a Veerling, there's not really like any real speedsters like you could think of, right?
Guthrie,
like guys who played significant amount of time. Yeah. They were 5th in stolen bases with 105.
Really?
They were 5th in stolen base percentage at 79 points, so at almost 80%.
You know what? I bet that they would be higher than 5 if they played as aggressive as they did with Thompson as they did with Girardi.
You're probably right because
you saw them really start to get aggressive because what did they have to lose at that point? You know,
you're probably absolutely right because they were so tentative.
Yeah, they would have been higher than 5th.
I would like to see if I can find out what that stat was. I'd probably go to one of the good sites to get that, but they were 6th overall in base running. So 5th
in what? In runs scored?
Base stolen run. So it just says 6th overall in base running. So I don't know what that is.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah. So
being safe?
I guess not getting tagged out and like overall like base running, like proper base runnings, not getting snagged at the plate, not
Yeah, that's a confusing one to me.
Yeah, it's called B capital B lowercase S capital R.
They have weird shit for all this stuff.
I remember when like WAR became a thing. I'm like, wait, I gotta check this
right,
out.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute, is it like the card game now? And then the other question is, like, we were asking who starts the game. So, Joe, who is your closer for the Phillies?
That's a big question, man, because what he did the other night with Eflin, it was a head scratcher to me. I don't know if he was just trying to get him in there for some innings. I don't know if it was because it was his best friend, which they brought up during the post game like 9 times.
I don't think that was it.
I mean, Robertson, whatever you want to say, he could be shaky at times. Like, yeah, he came in here and he was pitching very well, but he kind of fell off towards the end.
Volumes about him.
Sir Anthony, we've been seeing him give up the long ball, as a setup guy, or if he gets thrown into a safe situation since he's been back. It could come down to a committee and who's at bat.
So I did a little.
I don't know, man. That's a really good question.
A little searching. So potential closers in the last 14 days would probably run you into Sir Anthony, Robertson, and Eflin. Because they're the ones who've closed over the last few days. Or 14 days. Sir Anthony has an 8.31 ERA over those 14 days.
Jesus.
So I don't think. I don't know. I think.
There's times that they can go to Brad Hand.
And Brad Hand was actually throwing today.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's a good sign. Roberson's a 1.80 ERA in the last. This is just the last 14. Just the last 14 days.
But he also was pitching really well before he even got here. So I think it's
his age. I think the energy, the stamina is kind of. That's why he just can't go back to back.
It's innings. Like it's so unbelievable. It's like Philadelphia is like his bugaboo. Like if he pitches anywhere else, he is a solid reliever, and then he gets here and it's all out the window. And
with the best ERA of them all, Zach Eflin.
Wow.
With a 1.59
How could he not have the best?
That's in 5. That's in 5.2 innings pitched.
Okay.
So, he's given up 0 walks and 9.5 strikeouts per 9 innings pitched. So,
do you know Aaron Nola only gave up less than 30 walks all season?
Yep. I saw that stat on Twitter.
He had a very. I don't care about the wins and losses that much anymore because it all comes on the backbone of the team and how they're performing that day. I mean, he can go out there.
I've seen guys who
pitch a gem like he did the other night. And, I mean, they got the win the other night. But we've seen him have really good outings, and he's come away with a no decision or a loss because of the back end of the game, in the later innings. And so I don't really look at that much. But he's had a very solid comeback season in my eyes.
Here's my thing: is I saw a stat where it kind of just like disproved the win loss because somebody said Aaron Nola had a really, here's his season totals for everything. Kind of pointed out that piece of information in the tweet.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I saw it. But somebody say, well, his win loss, he was like 10 for 11, 10 wins,
like
11,
10 and 13, or
10 and 11, 10,
something
12,
like that.
Whatever it was at the time. So I don't know if that was before the game or after the game. But point being is, and somebody said, well, there's some guy I never heard of who was like 13 and 5 with a 5.29 ERA.
Right.
So like that, what does that tell me? That they had bats backing them up.
Right,
That's what
exactly.
It is. He had Cole Hamels syndrome.
Yeah.
Like 2009 Cole Hamels, like they just didn't give him the run support. There was like maybe a handful of games I could think of where they scored more than maybe 3 or 4 runs for him during this season. So, listen, I know we all give a lot of Aaron Nola. Maybe he's not an ace on this team because of Zach Wheeler, but he's an ace on some other teams. You know what I mean? But he was
an ace before Zach Wheeler guy.
Yeah, and he's above a regular number 2. He's not an average 2. He's a high average 2, low average ace. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I do.
So another thing is, somebody pointed this out to me. I saw this today too. Phillies went 5-20 against just the Mets and the Cubs this year. They were 200%.
That's
200.
insane.
They were 78-52 versus everyone else. That's a 600. So it's 200. I mean, it's amazing how they. Thank God we don't have to see at least the Cubs anymore.
Yeah.
It's just now we got to worry about the Mets if we see them again. But Joe, we were talking about this before we went to just talk about our sponsors. I said to you, part of me would not have been upset if it was the Mets we were going up against.
Sure.
And I think it's because of the pressure situation. That whole house money thing. Like, if the Phillies went up to New York and lost to the Mets, would most people across the nation be surprised?
No, I don't think so.
Just by record-wise, how the Mets manhandled us this season.
Yeah.
The Mets had what were they, 102 wins or 101?
Something like that.
Something like
that. The week before the Braves series, I believe it was. I mean, it wasn't a week. Maybe it was a couple of days before the Braves series when it really looked like all they had to do was put together a couple more wins and they were going to win a division outright. And a store in New York, and I'm kind of paraphrasing this story. I briefly saw it. A store in New York was selling these shirts that said "The East is ours," and it was a New York Mets shirt. And then they get swept by the Braves, and I mean, and like they talked this into existence, like this downfall, this absolute.
Well, everybody's like, oh, they're going to lose. They're not going to make the playoffs. I'm like, that wasn't. The odds
that's not even feasible.
The odds that, not this time. I mean, even into like late July, all that stuff. I said the odds of the Mets not making the playoffs to me were slim to none, unless they went on like some 30-game losing streak, which even the Mets weren't going to do. They have a good They have a good team. You have to be realistic at times. But the fact that they kind of lost that first place when they were at times 12 games above, above the Braves, is their mini collapse. It is typical Braves moment. So, kind of like that's why I said I would not have mind playing the Braves because kind of house money for the Phillies at this point when they play the Braves, knowing how they
played them well this season. I thought.
And my point is, it's a lot of pressure on the Mets not to flub this up.
Right. So,
but
also, okay, if it's Phillies Braves, that means it's Cards and Mets, and I think the Mets take out the Cards handedly.
Possibly. I mean, the Cards are like the Braves to me. They're just team that they seem at times they could be out of things, and then they're in the playoffs. They go win the World Series. Like the Mets and the Braves always seem to never be out of it until they're legitimately out of it. Like
someone said to me the other day, they're like, "Oh, woohoo! Like the Phillies are in the playoffs, but they're not good." And I said, "Listen, you as well as anybody knows that once the playoffs start, anything can happen." The person was like, "Yeah, absolutely." I was like, "Can you shut your mouth?"
Clean slate, 0-0.
I kicked them in the back of their neck.
Clean slate, 0-0. Just for those who are following us at home, Is this the last preseason game, right?
I think there's one more.
Is there one more?
Yeah.
Okay.
Friday.
Is it Friday?
I think it's Friday. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to probably get divorced in October. Man, there's just so much.
Isn't that great? Not the divorce, but October.
Oh yeah, no, not the divorce. Sixers are up 104-103 over Cleveland with 3 minutes and 52 seconds left. I know it's a preseason game, but right now it's a lot of the guys who are the starters who have been sitting. But it's just Cleveland could be a premier team in the East this year. So we'll find
Donovan
out.
Mitchell's there now, right?
Yeah.
They got the big trade for him.
Milton. That was Milton. I thought it was somebody else. But all right, let's change gears here because, of course, the talk of the town. The other team playing the other Cardinals.
How wild's that?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Is the Philadelphia Eagles are heading out to Arizona to take on the Arizona Cardinals against Kyler Murray. Joe, I want to point something out and see if you agree with me or not. And
sure.
Half the time you don't, but we'll see. Everybody kept saying after we won last week, and I saw it on the post-game show and a lot of the comments when I was hosting it with the Painted Lines and the other guys. Like, next week's going to be a big test for us.
Right.
I think that was a bigger test for us than this game should be. We're 5-point favorites.
Yeah.
Away.
On the road.
On the road, across the country, might I add. Not just like, we went to Washington, like we were like a couple hours out. Just a quick bus ride.
Right.
Across the country, 5-point favorite. I think it's 5.5 now, right? I haven't looked at it lately.
Last I heard was 5.
Something like that. I've never been a Kyler Murray fan, and I'm not saying I don't think he's a good quarterback, and he has potential to be an offensive juggernaut. And he
shows flashes for sure.
And he can keep the games alive with his legs, as we've seen with Jalen Hurts. He's just not as big as Jalen Hurts, solid as Jalen Hurts, where he can push through 2 or 3 guys for that last touchdown. But he's just elusive. I just want to point something out, guys. Arizona Cardinals are not a good team. They're not a good team. I'm not saying look past them. But for anybody to sit there and go, this is going to be the toughest test they've seen all year, I think the Dallas Cowboys right now with Cooper Rush at the helm is more of a test to these Eagles because of the divisional portion of it. And they have a good defense. Let's throw that out there.
Sure.
I think that makes them more of a challenge to us than the Cardinals. And I'm going to show you why. I did a little math here. I want to break down the Cardinals' 4 games so far. They're 2-2. All right. The first game they won against the Chiefs and got slaughtered. He didn't even finish the game. Trace McSorley came in. Okay. It was 44-21. Yes, Penn State's own Trace McSorley. That's game 1. He's already been taken out because they didn't want to. Game 1. They scored 2 TDs, and it was 22 for 34, 193 yards. Nothing impressive in my eyes. Then they played the Raiders, who the Raiders are not as good as everybody thought they were going to be this year, so at least so far. The 1-3 Raiders right now, who are struggling big time. They did not score until the second half. Again, twice you'll see this. He was 31 for 49, 277 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception. It's a 29-23 win. They squeaked it out. They had to go into OT to get it done. The Rams, who are not as good as they were, they are not looking like a Super Bowl team as they did last year, right?
Nope.
They lost 20-12. They had to go up against a good defense. They have a good defense. 20-12. They only scored 4 field goals. That's it. He couldn't muster up a touchdown with their legs with a good running back like Connor or any of the wide receivers. He was 314 yards, 37 for 58 with no interceptions and no touchdowns at all. They lost that one. The Panthers game, I actually ended up watching this game because this game came on after the Eagles game. So I ended up watching this. They won 26-16, which in my eyes, the Panthers are probably one of the worst teams in the league right now. Top worst 5 teams, right?
Yeah. I think Baker has a QB rating of like 15.
They couldn't take the lead until the 4th. It was a tied game until the 4th. 23 for 32. That's a 72%. That's not terrible. Don't get me wrong. 270 yards, 2 TDs, and an interception. He had to come alive at the end to beat the Panthers.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not trying to smell myself, but right now the Eagles make me feel like I have a new girlfriend. Like a guy or a girl starts dating somebody, like maybe somebody at work, and they're like that happy moment, and you see them look at their phone and they giggle. You get all excited. Like that's how I feel right now with the Eagles and the Phillies being the way it is. Like right now, Philly sports is making me feel that way. seeing the Sixers here, getting confident about them starting up. But like the Eagles right now being 4-0. 4-0 is not an easy.
The only team still undefeated.
Yep, and it's not an easy thing to have. Okay, the only time you ever see teams go this far, this good, are either teams that had a really lopsided schedule coming in, or really good people who usually make a Super Bowl run. Okay, I'm not saying 4-0 people always go to the Super Bowl. I'm saying they make a good deep playoff run. Okay, there's outside of maybe special teams on this team. This team looks, I don't want to say flawless, but looks complete.
They have players on the special teams get special team player of the year. So I don't want you to just leave out the special teamers here.
No, and this game, Britton Covey, one of his best games yet.
I agree. However, I think he stinks. Yeah. But his best game yet.
He had 69 yards, so it's 23 yards average return on his, and he only had one touchback. That's for the kickoff. For the punt return, he only had one for 2 yards. But yeah, I don't think he's good at all. Like I don't think he's going to be anything special. I just think it was a lack of choices at this point.
Sure.
But my point is, you have to be excited what you see about this team, and I keep feeling like we have this conversation every week. Like it's okay to be excited. Like we like
absolutely
PSA these people. Like, hey guys, it's okay. Yes, fly away Cardinals. Let's see what else we have here. Question about the Eagles versus Cards. You guys think that Nakobe Dean more in this game to counter Kyler Murray's speed? That's a good point, Joe. I don't know yet. I mean, let's see. I mean, how much time playing this? I mean, not a lot, right?
No. There's no need for him to be on the field right now. When you look at TJ Edwards, who has been a monster this year, Kaiser White, who has been a monster last year for the Chargers, coming in here with such a high, reputation. Basically, he was just odd man out there in San Diego. And then, of course, you have Hassan Reddick, who you're either going to play back in coverage or off the edge. I don't think you need to force Nakobe Dean in here.
He's only been on special teams. 71% of the time he's on special teams.
There's no need to force him in here right now.
I mean,
as excited as we all were for him to get drafted,
take your time
and some of us who think that he should have been a first-round pick. I mean, again, I don't think that there's any reason to force him in. Let him get into his own.
Anthony, I agree with you. I am not disagreeing with the fact they have talent, but they're missing one of their biggest pieces.
Yeah, Hollywood Brown, he's having a good season.
Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins is not in, so that's a big weapon not to have. Zach Ertz doing what Zach Ertz does.
Yeah, he catches. That's about it.
It's Kyler Murray that I'm not afraid of. They have an okay defense. I'd say middle of the road, a little bit above average, maybe. I wouldn't sit there and say the best defense in the league or anything like that. I mean, we went up against one of the best defenses in the league this week in the rain.
The rush, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
put up over 200.
Yeah, Miles Sanders had probably the best game of his
career.
Yeah.
I mean, last season, he didn't have a single touchdown, and he put up 2 on the other night. Yep. He put up 2 the other day, but I think it was 156. It was right around that area. Definitely his yardage for the day.
134.
Okay, definitely his best game of his career.
It's 156 total.
And you know what? You know what was different with this game opposed to others? And yes, I'm sure the weather played a little bit into it. He had 27 carries.
Yeah.
You give him the ball, you feed him the ball, he's going to create. He just needs the opportunity. I'm not even going to say anything about the F word when it comes to him and some of his tendencies to do so. I'm not going to mention that, but he's been really good in ball control. So you got to keep feeding him the rock.
I always have this theory: when you're winning and your team is really high, there's like a certain what makes a winning team a good team. Where you always talk about the shoe dropping, something that, like, listen, they're going to lose at one point. I don't have any aspirations of an undefeated season. If it happens, awesome. But they're going to have a letdown game, probably a game they should not lose it to. But there's a possibility, huh?
Houston.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, along those lines. Maybe they look past them or anything. But that's what I'm saying, that this team so far, and I think Jalen Hurts, I give him a lot of credit for this, is that kind of leader, and Jason Kelce and the other guys don't look past. Like, I'm not looking past the Cardinals. I'm not afraid of Kyler Murray.
It's not even that I'm not afraid of the Cardinals or Kyler Murray. I'm just that confident on the Eagles' defense. the way that this team has been playing, and I'm not even going to talk about the Lions game. Sure, they gave up points. And I'm not going to talk about the Vikings game. Yes, they dominated. But when you just look over the past 2 weeks, the 9 sacks on Carson, all the fumbles last week, and the sacks, and the interceptions, the sprinkling the interceptions over the past few weeks. When you look at that, you know that this team is dialed in already. Like I have no more questions for Jonathan Gannon anymore. They were down 14 points. They only gave up 14 points on the defensive side of the ball total in the game.
Yeah.
They came back. That was the game that they needed to show that they could lock it down and really, make the adjustments that they needed. I have no worry about this defense right now. And it's not about the competition that we're going into play. It's just me feeling that overall confidence in this defense and what they're capable of doing. Look at the depth on this team. Slay went out. Bradbury's your number one, your shutdown. He gets the interception on the Jags, kind of seals the deal last week. You had Josiah Scott come in and play the nickel, play the slot, and he stepped up. Marcus Epps is playing great. These guys are stepping up when needed. And I have no qualms about this defense. Jonathan Gannon, nothing about it at all. You saw Jordan Davis with the big stop last week. Of course, BG and Fletcher Cox are playing a bunch. Josh Sweat is really coming into his own. Milton Williams, Hargrave. Like, I could just go on and on about this defense right now. And it has nothing to do with the talent of the team that we're going in to face each week. I know that my team is going to go out there and show out.
And that's the ball out. And that's my thing is, it's the words after the Vikings game. I continue to hear them ringing in my ear. We had a great game. That game, any person, I don't care if you're a long-time veteran like Aaron Rodgers or a fresh off the street first game in the NFL rookie.
Yeah.
If you have a game like that, you're like, look at me.
Sure.
I'm the best, right? He said they had a good game, but he said they had a lot to work on still.
Right.
That's what I mean, we all know we had that mentality, but like,
is there any word on Mailata yet from an MRI?
So he, I don't think about the MRI, but as of right now, he did not practice today.
Okay.
I had that on my phone here.
I mean, look at that depth you had on that O-line. Opeta was in. Jack Driscoll was in.
That's on my topic here. I mean,
my God.
Giving Jack Driscoll and Opeta a lot of credit, because that's the other thing is, and it's going to kind of go into my second point here, is the adjustments made on the fly, and they're making, like we saw that, like Mailata went down. A little bit of a grief given to A.J. Brown for his little slacking and then causing Mailata.
It was a business decision.
Yeah.
He's had a baby. Can you blame him?
But, no, I mean, Jack Driscoll looked like he was going to get his ass handed to him all day long. Had a little rough start.
Yeah.
Made a couple adjustments. Bing, bang, boom. He looked fine.
To Jack Driscoll's credit, when he has played, a majority of the time he's lined up on the right side. The left side is a bit foreign to him at this point.
No, it is.
And I think for him stepping in, I think he outperformed what any of us could have expected. And even like seeing how he's playing, even when Andre Dillard comes back, who knows if that position is just handed right back to him as the backup.
Yeah, we don't know.
If Driscoll's playing well, don't fix what isn't broke.
And when I was saying making adjustments, I got to, if I'm going to keep kind of gushing over this team, I got to give Nick Sirianni a lot of love right now. And what I mean by that, not just because they're winning. I mean, yes. Hey, man, you're the head coach. When it comes down to if you win a Super Bowl, you're the winning head coach of the Super Bowl team. So, yeah, you get that. But I also think he gets it like this. I kind of equate it to this. My buddy was like, I want to, when he was going to college, he goes, I want to go to this college. It's like $100,000 a year. And I said, well, why don't you go to community college or a smaller, lesser college, or a less expensive college, I should say, for the first 2 years, get your associates, go there for 2 years. Now it's $200,000. I just cut it in half. You know what I mean? And he's just like, well, I want, like, dude, when you graduate, it doesn't say I graduated from Yale and Delaware County Community College. It just says Yale. You know what I mean? So you're gonna
just go to the fourth year.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, you could do that when you graduate. It's where you graduate from. So my point is, and also you have to understand, your credits have to be there. But my point is, yeah, he gets that. We see that with moving Shane Steichen into the play caller role. He's been great since he took over last year. What's he only lost, 2 games?
I think they're 11-3 or 12-3 under Steichen right now. Yeah.
So, I mean, he's done an amazing job. And it's also, I put a little bit of the Gannon success on that because here's my thing is, and that was kind of my issue with Dougie P a little bit. He was not willing to budge when maybe something wasn't working.
Yeah.
And Doug continued to want to call the plays. I mean, Nick Sirianni, when he first came in and said, hey, I'm going to call the plays, I'm like, oh, Nick, this is not the foot I want to start off on with you, bro. Like, I really don't want to start off on this foot with you because this is what we just came from. And he was not even an offensive coordinator. We have to remember that. He wasn't really an offensive coordinator.
Right.
When he came in here. So it was not like he was calling plays before.
Yeah, that was Andy Reid.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then Nick Sirianni came in. He wasn't calling plays. So
you mean in Indy?
In Indy, yeah. Yeah. So he wasn't calling plays. So I'm like, I got a little upset about it. But he said, you know what? It's not working. It's not working. He made the adjustment. So I give a lot of credit to him for putting pride aside because that's hard to do in that position. Putting pride aside. And I said, like, now that he can overlook and see the entire team as a whole, I think part of that is like we went again and like, we got to scheme this out. What can we do to make this better? How can we do this? I don't want to have another Detroit Lions situation. I know we're kicking the rust off. Everybody's trying to like feel each other out, you know. And I think part of the way they got ready for the beginning of the season is because they knew they were going up against the Lions. If they were going up a better team, I think they would have had a little bit more reps under their belt.
You know what's wild about the Lions? They average like 34 points a game.
They're like one of the top offenses.
1-3.
It's because their defense is that bad.
It's
almost like the Dallas Cowboys were 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Like they were scoring like 30 plus points and losing games because their defense was horrible. And then they made the adjustment and got a lot of defensive players in there.
Not to take the spotlight off the Eagles right now, but Washington, like big question mark down in Washington. Like the fans, like they already want Wentz benched, and like this has got to be final straw, right? If he gets benched, I mean, I don't know what his contract looks like. I don't know if there was an extension. This could be his only year there.
Yeah.
Like, is he an NFL quarterback next year?
If they play 2 more games like they've done,
yeah.
If he plays 2 more games like he's done, maybe 3 tops,
dude, he's going to end up in the USFL, the XFL. I don't see how he can continue as an NFL quarterback. Like
he'll get a backup job at least.
But that's my thing. I don't think his ego will allow him to be a lifelong backup at this point. If he can go, like I can see him going to like the Canadian Football League, and as long as he's a starter, that's where he's going to be.
He'll never be able to afford his life he lives now. He wouldn't be able to.
Oh, well, he's already made a lot of money.
He could make a lot of money, but your paycheck drops like to 12% of what it used to be.
But what the Eagles give him 130 or something like that? Like
I'm not saying
just because he is not an Eagle doesn't mean he doesn't have that contract anymore. Like he has enough money right now to live his life. He does.
Look at some of the backup quarterbacks who have robbed people blind.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, we've had one.
Yeah.
And that's I just don't see him doing it. I don't see him doing it because you know what? If you're playing for the Canadian Football League and your quarterback goes down,
I was exaggerating with the Canadian Football League.
But I'm just saying.
You tell me if the XFL comes in and Dwayne The Rock Johnson doesn't call him up and say, "Hey, we want you to be a quarterback." Like, I could absolutely
because
see
you know why? When you're a backup, if you want to get a chance in the NFL as a backup quarterback, if your guy goes down, you're now a starting quarterback.
He got benched for 4 weeks at the end of 2018 or whatever year it was, and he won it out. You think that he's going to be able to ride the pine for 17 straight weeks in a season and be okay to yeah, I think he'll take unemployment.
Yeah,
I really do.
I think he'll play. I think
he's too much in his own head. There's no way he's going to be okay with that.
Somebody's going to listen. If there's a need for a quarterback somewhere, take Miami for instance. Say Tua was out for a while, and what's his face? I might not remember who's their backup right now.
Bridgewater.
Teddy Bridgewater. Like if he's not doing the job and they release him.
So you're telling me that if Carson was not traded to Washington, but Indy still brought in Matt Ryan to be the starting quarterback, you think Carson Wentz would be sitting there as a backup behind Matt Ryan this 4 weeks into the season right now and him not bitch about it saying that he wants out of Indy?
No. See, this is my thing is, I'm not saying he wouldn't bitch about it, and I'm not saying he wouldn't try to get out. But if he had no choices, meaning nobody wanted him to be a starting quarterback in the NFL, and his only choice was to be a backup. Like say they release him tomorrow,
Yeah.
okay, and he can take the rest of the year off. Sure, he has the money to do that, but next year comes around, and his agent puts him out there and says, "Listen, he wants a job. He wants a job as a starting quarterback," and nobody takes a flyer on him, even a team who's in like dire need of a quarterback. I think then yes, he will take one before he goes anywhere else.
But if anywhere else comes saying, hey, you could be a backup quarterback in the NFL for not great money, or be a starting quarterback in one of these, up and coming, football leagues, and I'll leave the USFL out of this, but the XFL, who now has big money backing, you're telling me they don't come to him and say, you could be a starter here for NFL type money. You don't think he'll jump ship?
You're telling me you don't think a backup NFL quarterback's going to make more money than any starting quarterback in the XFL?
I don't know.
XFL.
The way that money is thrown around these days, I can see it.
I mean, I want to hold on. Go ahead, keep going. I want to look some up because I want to see average salary for NFL backup quarterback.
Yeah, but you got to think like these aren't the days of Chase Daniel where he's making $15 million as a backup from the Eagles because they had no idea what the hell was going on back then. I mean, these quarterbacks are not making. I don't know. I don't know how much a backup average is, but I can't see it being more than $3 or $4 million.
Anthony, they need it starting with the owner.
Well, of course,
more than a GM. And here's my thing: I
like Juan Rivera too. Like I'm surprised that they're not.
I'm not surprised
better.
He's getting out. I wouldn't be surprised he's like, I'm done. I've had enough of this. Maybe once again, maybe the money's good. Maybe he doesn't want to move around. You know what I mean?
Well, he's still, in remission.
That too. Maybe he, health wise, it's. But how healthy is it if you want to kill everybody you work for?
Yeah, it's true.
But my point is, it's like. Part of me goes, all right, like, so look, you got the owner of the Indy who kicked him out, right? And I'm not being a Wentz apologist, but hear me out on this. He had a very good season last year, except for the last couple of games, correct?
Yeah, I think so.
Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
They got rid of him. They brought in Matt Ryan. That really has not panned out.
Not at all.
And I think that owner is going to have a hard time finding anybody stable because apparently, from what I understand, they're all on the hot seat already. Frank Reich, the GM there, this guy's got an itchy trigger finger. He's ready to fire. And the problem is, every year there's supposed to be some sort of contender, and every year they keep taking steps backwards. And this year, I don't even think they were a Super Bowl contender in my eyes. And if they fire all those guys, they're going to be starting over from scratch.
I keep hearing Andrew Luck might come out of retirement, so maybe that's what they're banking on.
How many years now?
I'm joking. I'm totally joking.
How many years has he been out now? I feel like he's been 100 years.
Yeah, once he announced his retirement, he was completely forgot about.
Yeah. Well, didn't he go do college game day or something like
Probably.
that? I thought he was doing announcing or
probably.
But so he goes to Washington. Not blaming, saying he's doing Carson type stuff. We saw it firsthand. We were in the stadium. We watched it happen.
Yeah.
But he's also got a terrible offensive line.
Sure.
I mean, he's got some weapons to throw to, but nothing that it's nothing that's groundbreaking. Dotson's pretty good. Scary Terry's pretty good.
Lauren, yeah.
But I'm not, as I said, a lot of these mistakes are on him. A lot of these things are on his personality defects.
Oh, yeah.
As a talent, he's a good quarterback. I'm going to put that out there. As a person, his personality defects is what kills him from being better.
Yeah.
Like I just said.
He can't get out of his own way. Absolutely.
Like I just said, they made adjustments. They put pride aside. Nick Sirianni says, Shane, you're taking over. It's been a great move so far. Jalen put pride aside and could have been like, rah, look at us. Knows he has stuff to do. And we're thriving. Carson Wentz is doing the same dumb things he was doing when he was in his last years here, in Indy at the end, and here now. Okay? Or in Washington now. My point is, that's his problem. Here, nothing else.
Sure.
But I still think he's a back. I think he would take it. But moving on from that conversation, the other thing is another thing stat-wise you want to look at. So this wasn't a game where passing was going to be prevalent, right? The weather was not going to allow that. Pouring rain the entire time, wet ball, the whole 9 yards. All their touchdowns were scored on rushes, QB keeper and rushes, right? But the thing, if you want to look at is, and this is the second game in a row, or at least maybe even the third game. Yeah, second game in a row. They're really spreading out the love with the receivers.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, sometimes you get connection and one's hot. We saw Devontae Smith making some big plays in Washington. It was more the A.J. Brown show versus the Vikings, things like that.
You know what's odd is even when AJ is getting a majority of the targets, it doesn't look like he's getting a majority of the targets. Like I'm watching the game the other day, and it's like he was like 5 receptions for like 65 yards, and I'm like, wait a minute, when the hell did he have 5 catches already?
Yeah.
Like that, and I think that's to the point of what you're saying of Jalen just spreading the ball around so much is because even though AJ is averaging close to 10, targets, 10 looks per game, it doesn't look that way because everybody is getting spread around the love.
Well, here you go. AJ Brown had 7 targets. It's just targets.
Okay.
7 targets. Goddard had 6. Smith had 4. Sanders had 3. Gainwell had 2. Pascal had 1. So, I mean, it wasn't like one had 10 and everybody else had 3 or, you know what I mean? But there's another thing for you. So, A.J. Brown, I just saw this, has 5 catches for a team-high 95 yards, right? He is one of 3 with 3 games of 85-plus receiving yards and leads the NFC with 40.4 or 404 reception yards in 2022, right? Who are the other 2 guys?
Stephon Diggs.
Okay. No, but keep going.
No, wow.
I'm talking premier guys. Like guys you want to be company with.
You don't think Stephon Diggs is a premier
guy?
I'm
not saying he's not. I'm just saying
Mike Evans.
Nope.
Wow. Tyreek Hill.
1. Premier guy, like the guy in the NFL. Wide receiver.
The guy in Cooper Kupp.
So like the top 3 guys, Cooper Kupp and him. I mean that's some good company there. I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, why would we want him? Like he's a good wide receiver. No, he's a damn good wide receiver.
Yes.
He was only good looking. He looks really good with Ryan goddamn Tannehill throwing to him. I want that to be set in your head a little bit. Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's stealth Batman.
Huh?
He's stealth Batman.
Stealth Batman. I mean, it's amazing. And
swole Batman. I'm sorry.
And here's my thing is the Eagles have so many unsung heroes. I pointed some out. Dallas Goedert.
Yeah.
I mean, like, listen, yeah.
Oh, yeah. He had that one drop, which was a sure touchdown.
I had the whole South House. The South House was packed. And at that point, a lot of superlatives came out, and Anthony Owner comes up. I'm like, oh, man, maybe I piss him off. He just starts laughing. This is why I love having you guys here.
Nice.
Like, he just kind of pointed at it. I'm like, all right, good. I didn't piss him off. I'm like, sometimes I forget where I'm not at home. But yeah, he had a drop. Listen, everybody's gonna have drops. It's gonna happen.
Sure.
Point. But that was a touchdown.
When you needed that.
Yeah.
You needed that drive.
But I mean, listen, you hear about Travis Kelce. Those are kind of big names that you hear out there when it comes to tight ends. But I mean,
well, not Zach. Sorry, I'm thinking of Zach Ertz because that's
Dallas Goedert. Yeah,
Dallas Goedert. He leads, and this was actually before last week's game that I saw this stat. But he possibly still leads all tight ends in receptions per catch and yards after catch. So I mean, if you're
even more than Travis Kelce,
is
that just for this year so far?
Yes, but yeah.
I mean, if that was before,
it's definitely not for her career.
Oh yeah, I know. I would start those dating back to any time last year.
No, this season.
Because listen, the Kelce boys are probably both going to be making the Hall of Fame.
Oh,
for the respective areas.
Come on.
By the way, I don't usually promote somebody else's podcast. It's great.
It's the best.
They were sitting there arguing what was the better Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The 2017 Eagles or the Chiefs in 2020? The 2020? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It was funny though. They're just cool guys. But so Goddard has 8 games with 5+ catches, and 50+ reception yards since 2021, 4th most with tight end. I mean, these are stats that are going kind of underneath the rug a little bit,
right?
Because you get to AJ Brown and Devontae Smith has his Batman game and all that stuff. Like I thought he broke his back though, how far he jumped up and twisted around. Yeah. But then again, here's another one. Like we were complaining about the Lions game, Hassan Reddick. Like, oh, what are they dropping back in coverage? What the hell is this shit? I mean,
they rated that ship.
Yeah, I mean the sack total. I'm
defensive player of the week.
The Eagles have had a player of the week every week so far.
I know.
When did that happen? It's 2017, Joe.
Was it really?
Every week for the first 4 weeks. 2017 Eagles padded player of the week. Just pointing that out there.
And was it not Carson Wentz all 4 weeks?
No. I think there was like defensive play. I'm just saying there's not always offense or defense. There's a player of the week. But I mean, the Bradbury Slay thing is just fun, man. They're having a great time.
Oh yeah,
they're like, and then they're like the defensive, like that defensive core, the whole team defensively wise, they're just having a good time. Well, it was a lot different than what we saw last year before they turned some things around. You know, you had Fletcher Cox kind of throwing Jonathan Gannon under the bus. We saw that after the Raiders game. I thought he was gone. That's why I thought I didn't think when they re-signed him, I thought that was not going to happen. I thought they were just like.
I thought he was gone. Absolutely.
I thought that was the nail in the coffin at that point.
I mean, you're telling telling everybody, that I've never played in this technique before. He's not lining me up in the right position. Like, come on, stop. Yeah. You don't air out the dirty laundry. Mm-hmm. But did you see Darius Slay and Bradbury in the locker room after the game where they were interviewing Bradbury and Slay, like, jokingly, it was interrupting his interview, but like, hey, you got to go ask the Giants why they let this guy go. Or I'm sorry, he said, hey, why did the Giants let this guy go? And Bradbury's like, oh, you'll have to go ask him.
Speaking of kind of underhanded I don't even call it a compliment, but so Brandon Graham had a funny one today. He kind of took he says unintentional shot at Zach Ertz, but he kind of I
didn't hear it.
You listen to it and you tell me. Okay. Hold on 1 second here.
For of all our days, you know what I'm saying?
Kayvon Wallace said last Wednesday, he said that D-line starts in a game, they're there to hunt and eat. And was that a good description of it, especially after today?
Oh, yeah. Man, when somebody TJ started off with the one sack, and boy, everybody just hunting and eating. And when we know we up, we know they got to drop back, and they ain't going to run the ball too much because they trying to preserve the time so that they can catch up. And so, that's when we really go hunting. But I think that in order for us to do that, we got to make sure we stopping the run, making sure we taking care of business in that aspect, and just staying together because they're going to make plays, which they did early, but we stayed together, and, we made plays in the end to win.
Why did that cut off soon? There's a part where he talks about, this is my bad. I forgot there was two on him.
On what I spent on last year.
Brandon, what's the difference? Last week it's Trevor Lawrence, this week it's Kyler Murray. Completely different styles, you would think.
Oh, yeah.
All off script this week. What's the difference in preparation?
I think it's just we just going to play with a spirit. Got to go out there, and we know it's going to be extended plays. We just got to make sure as a defense that we all are playing fast and playing to the whistle because this he can hurt us. He can definitely hurt us by extending plays, but we got to make sure we're ready and in shape to make sure we're running around so that he don't just be running the brown back there and getting us all tired.
How do you see Zach Ertz this week? Seems like every week you see it from a coach, teammate. What's your recollection?
We know he's a great route runner. He's just one of those guys that I know he's not blocking any of us. Not.
He's not blocking any of us. And you can see him here. Hold on, I'm going to play a little bit more one more time.
I know he's not blocking any of us. not to him, but I'm just saying we know him just like he know us. So
there you go.
He kind of tried to backtrack a little bit on it, but it was kind of funny.
He's 100% right.
He's not wrong. I mean, like that wasn't his thing. I mean,
Zach wasn't a blocking tight end.
If he blocked, it was like, oh, look what Zach Ertz did. Like, you should be able to do that, bro. You're not a little guy. You think he'd be able to block well. But let's see. Yeah, all right. So, Joe, let's look at this game overall, this breakdown. We're in Arizona, beautiful Arizona. It's warm out. They just played in the wettest, soggiest game. It always seems like the Eagles can play in these weird, like, remember the snowball?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, maybe it's because it's at home.
They never forget it.
Yeah, like, it was just an amazing, like, they can overcome. The only one, like, major game where they had some major weather issues that they couldn't overcome was the infamous fog bowl.
Of course.
And it's funny because Seth Joyner was doing an interview with somebody. They kind of brought that up because of the rain and kind of compared it to. He goes, you know what the funniest part of the whole thing was? If the NFL was just smart enough to postpone the game till later in the day, he goes, by the time we got done and like changed and walked out the locker room, he's like, it was a beautiful day. He's like, you would have never known. You would have never known. Yeah. It was just because there's some crazy fog coming off the
it's
lake,
unbelievable.
the lake there. Let's go to the comments here real quick. We got that one. Anthony, Tannehill is struggling. Tannehill's been struggling. He had like one good year, a couple, like maybe 2 years. He got signed to some money, locked Tennessee in for a guy who's probably a glorified backup for a backup, lack of better words.
But they had no other choice, at the time. So they gave him a little bit of money, and he came back and he played well.
Yeah. Right now we got the fourth.
But he also played well because of the talent that was around him. Corey Davis was still there at the time. A.J. Brown, of course. Derrick Henry. I mean, the list goes on.
I don't know how he's figuring this out. Like, we have the 4th and the 31st overall pick. I guess by the strength. Who has?
Well, no, he's saying the Saints hit the first round. We have 2 first-round picks.
Saints
the one
will be
is
the 4th.
Saints, and right now, if the season started or ended now, best team in the league, Eagles would have the 32nd.
That's why I'm saying. He said 31st. Pick,
yeah.
So I'm trying to see how we get down one.
Which I actually think that's wrong because I think they have the 3rd pick overall from the Saints. I think I saw the Saints are the 3rd
worst team in the league.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like if the season ended now, we would have the
Based
3rd
on
overall
record.
pick.
Yeah.
Right. I could be wrong. That might have changed after.
Yeah, I was just trying to figure out how, because us being the only undefeated team, we have the best
32nd,
record.
right.
Yeah. Hassan Reddick will have a great game because he's playing the Cardinals that drafted him. Good point. Sometimes going
That's
home.
True. No, wait. No, it's not. Oh no. Okay. Sorry. I'm getting Carolina and Arizona mixed up.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
He went Arizona, Carolina.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that might play no, but I think he's just now settled in. Like I think it's. I mean, let's.
Well, I think coming back to play for your home team in front of friends, family, and where you played, your college ball at. I think that maybe that takes a little bit getting used to. And here we are, what are we, 1/4 through the season already, basically?
Well, I mean,
if it was still 16 games,
we'd be one. Yeah, we're quarter of the way through the season.
Right. Yeah. So I do think
it's pretty amazing to think. I feel like this thing just started.
I know. I do think it just took Hassan just a little bit of a little bit of time to get the bubbles out the guts.
And also, I think it's Gannon's system.
Trying to figure out where to use them best
in a situation. And here's a little something for you. This game, he became the first player since Jared Allen in 2005 with 2 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 2 fumble recoveries in a single game.
Mm-hmm.
And it'd be the third game in a row, or aims to be a 3rd game in a row with 1.5 sacks and a forced fumble with 4 seasons. So,
okay.
I mean, the man, that's with Arizona too. That's when it was 2017 to 2020. I mean, we know what he's capable of. I'm not worried about him at all. I say if everything plays out the way they hope, and they have these 4 first overall picks, I'm thinking the most premier edge rusher,
Will Anderson,
and maybe if there's a really good right tackle out there to be the heir apparent.
I saw a mock the other day that they were going to draft a running back in the first round.
Even if the Eagles, if they say they win the Super Bowl this year, and they have the ability to do so because of that, there's some Saquon Barkley, next generational running back. I don't think the Eagles take a running back ever. Like that's a dumb mock.
No,
I mock your mock, sir. I mock your mock.
A couple other things I want to bring up. Number one, I was very happy to see the Eagles faithful give Doug that standing O as he was coming out.
Yeah.
I mean, rightfully so, right?
Are you surprised?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Just wondering.
But maybe I'm a little surprised on a standing ovation. But I'm very happy that they did so. And then, of course, at the end of the game, you see Doug going up and hugging everybody, Lane and Jason. Jason gets his rain jacket.
Takes his jacket, gives him a jersey.
Instead of swapping jerseys, they swapped the jersey and a rain jacket. So I mean, it was cool seeing Doug back in Philadelphia. Next thing, the Pat McAfee show. Nick Sirianni was a guest on it today.
I saw that, yeah.
And do you know what channel it's on? Like, is it on like cable TV or is
Pat
it
McAfee?
Yeah.
I think it's FX or
it is
not FX. Fox or FX.
It's not like a
Sports
streaming like where you're allowed to curse and stuff like that.
1.
Because the clip I saw, he was asking.
Well, they might be able to put that up online.
Well, I'm assuming that it's. I mean, I guess they can say whatever they want if they're
You like
bleep
Pat
it out.
McAfee?
Not really.
Okay.
I don't care.
It's like he's kind of like I can see like times like okay, I like him. All right, no, I don't like him.
Right? Yeah. I think he also does like the WWE stuff on the side. Like,
Well,
I don't.
Was
care
he in WrestleMania?
Well, no, he was, but I also think he does the sideline commentating as well, like during matches and stuff. But anyway, like the clip I saw, that he was asking about Jalen Hurts, and he was like, "Oh, I know what." Or Nick was saying this. I know what you want me to say is he's a dog, and they started like the whole crew starts yelling at shit.
Mm-hmm.
And at the very end of the clip, you hear him say, "Effing dog." It was Pat McAfee. I was like, "Wait a minute, he's allowed to say that on regular TV?" And that's why I'm asking, because I don't know if it's on regular TV. I didn't know if he
Actually,
knew if it was
might be
streaming
right.
or whatever.
He might be YouTube only.
Okay.
Because everything I see is YouTube, and there's.
Well, then that's why you're allowed to curse.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Which is cool. Fuck it.
Monday Night Football. Jalen Hurts was on with the Manning brothers on ESPN2 on their little
moment.
Yeah, whatever the hell they call that.
The Manning cast.
Manning cast. Okay. So I know I didn't see the whole thing. I saw bits and pieces of it because the Phillies were on, and then of course I was checking on the Sixers. But the parts that I did see, does anybody I don't know how this is in season 2 or 3 or whatever it is, because they at one point they ask the question, and then you could just see both of them just watching the TV, watching the football game, which I know they need to do because they're going to make the commentary on it. But you can see that they're not paying attention to him or his answer at all. And then once he's done talking, there's just silence because they're watching the game, or after he's done talking, they don't even acknowledge what he said and give a reply like some back and forth. They just go into what's going on into the game. It was so mind-boggling to me that it was like, what am I watching, and how is this shit still on? Do people watch this?
It's because it's the Manning brothers.
You got to have ratings over. I mean, I'm sure they're getting paid a pretty penny here.
They are, and they sign on for 10 games this year. So I don't know.
Wow.
Listen, I think Peyton gets.
It was awful. It was bad.
I've never watched it. I haven't even tried to watch it for 10 seconds, to be honest with you. Now, did you see the thing where they showed what was on Jalen's shirt?
I did.
It said, I pray for those who doubted me.
Something like that. Yeah.
That's a pretty baller shirt. I like that.
But did you notice the pic? You're saying you didn't see it, but if you saw any pictures from the interview, that he has pictures of himself in the background. One of them was a canvas of him patting the head of him. One was an Oklahoma jersey, and one was an Alabama jersey, and it was like the two jerseys, number 1 and number 2, and it was of him, like the back of his jersey, and one of them was like patting himself on the head.
Dude, is that just
what is going on with that?
Is that uber confidence or just this guy loves himself?
But that wasn't even the only picture of him in the background. There was a second.
I actually might go back and watch just some of it, just so I can.
I'll try and find the picture.
I just want to see the background.
I'll try and find the picture.
Boys, I'm here for the background. The rest you can just shut up.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, listen. I'm like I said, I'm not looking past the Cardinals. Definitely give us fits. Don't get me wrong. And I said it's Kyler Murray doesn't do anything. James Conner will do something.
Yeah, I did forget about him.
And that's my thing is hopefully it does not take long for them to shut him down because we have been run on a little bit in the beginning of games.
Sure.
So that's what I look at. Like you said, Hollywood Brown. That's another guy. But is it Bradbury? Is it Slay? Slay was full participant.
Yeah, I was going to say. I'm pretty sure he's playing.
He's full participant today, so that's good news. Zach Ertz is Zach Ertz. J.J. Watt had a hell of a game. He batted down like 27 balls against the Panthers. But it's, once again, it's who you're playing.
Sure.
Zach Allen, we know that. Buda Baker, guy who can give you fits. And they have a good safety too. So was it Jalen Thompson?
Yeah.
So I mean, they got guys who can keep us kind of in check. But our wide receiver core versus their secondary, I'll take that every day. They win that 9 times.
Yeah, it's not even a question. I would absolutely take that.
And if they're zoning on AJ Brown, then you got to worry about Devontae Smith.
Yeah,
if Devontae Smith, if they could somehow lock both of them down, you still got Quez Watkins who could streak down the field. So with that being said, Joe Sheeran, that time of the show. Arizona Cardinals are hosting your 4-0 Philadelphia Eagles. It's so nice to say that.
It really is.
It's like almost like, you have to put that in like, oh, call me doctor. It's doctor. Yeah, sorry. Yes, doctor. It's your 4-0 Philadelphia Eagles, who, as far as I can say, is like a it's like a express train rolling downhill. I don't see much being able to stop this or slow this train down. But that's one game at a time. I'm trying to have that Jalen Hurts mentality, Joe.
Yeah.
Your Arizona Cardinals, or the Arizona Cardinals are trying to be the first one to stop them. What do you got for me, Joe? What is your final?
My final is going to be. I'm sniffing the Eagles big time on this one. I'm going 31-16.
Get out of here.
Yeah, 31-16.
I have 32-12.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
32-12. I threw a pen at you. I apologize.
It's okay.
32,
it's not the worst thing you've ever thrown at me.
Yeah, 32-12.
I found that picture. I just sent it to you.
Our boy Vince Joseph here. Vince, 32-24. He's giving their offense a little bit more credit. I don't think their offense does anything. Here's my thing is I keep what I showed you with the numbers, which I'll put up in my article sometime at some point in the next 24 hours. Is Kyler Murray is an end of the game guy, and our defense is a lockdown type defense. He is not going to be able to do what he did against Vegas and the Panthers to the Eagles if they play the way they did. I just don't see that, and that's why I'm saying I don't think it's going to be a close game. Anthony's got 32-28 Eagles.
Come on with that, man.
That's Joe's kind of in the ballpark of us, 34-17. I don't think they scored a touchdown. I'm going. No. That's why I said 12. Same thing they did. They did with was it the Chiefs? No, not the Chiefs. It was against the Rams. They did it against the Rams. And honestly, I think our defense is better than the Rams.
Oh yeah.
So if they can play,
that's tough. That's tough to say.
It's close. It's close.
I mean, if you just think of who's on the Rams,
I know you got Aaron Donald. I know you got the Aaron Donalds of the world. You have Jalen Ramsey. That team's just a little off right now. They're not. Yeah. They're a quirky team. It's like games they're losing that they shouldn't. And San Fran does that to them.
There's a lot of teams this year like that, though.
And this week, these matchups. We have a couple minutes. I want to go through them with you real quick. You don't have to say. I mean, you could give me your quick pick if you want to for the games. We used to do this a lot on the show, or then we stopped doing it afterwards. So the Colts and Denver. There's something I'm not going to be watching tomorrow. Sorry. I might just check my fantasy football. I don't even know if I have anybody on these teams at all, so I don't even care. But Colts. This might be one of the closer games in my eyes.
Yeah, I can see that.
Colts and Broncos. I'm going Broncos. I think the Colts.
Broncos, no doubt.
I think the Colts are they're already dead in the water in my eyes.
Russ had a pretty good game last year. If he can build off of that,
I think they'll build a little bit. I think Denver will be a better team as the year goes on. Maybe not great team. Giants and Packers. I mean, the Giants went through 3 quarterbacks last week.
Let's go Pack.
Pittsburgh Steelers, Buffalo Bills. I don't think we have to say much about that. Chargers against the Browns. I think the Chargers. Listen, credit to Justin Herbert. I'm a big fan of him. I think he's great. I would have loved him to be on the Eagles, but I'm happy with my Jalen Hurts right now. Guy has busted up cartilage in his ribs, which is one of the worst spots to have pain because then if you throw, run, sit, stand, breathe, laugh at a funny joke, that hurts.
Oh yeah.
He played really well last week. I'm going to go with the Chargers on this one. I think the Browns just suck.
I'm going upset, man. I'm taking the Browns this week.
Okay, all right. Texans against Jacksonville. I think Dougie P.
Rebound.
And the Jags are just like, nope, we need to beat up on somebody. And don't forget, Packers game, Giants game is your 9:30 in the morning game because that's the London game.
I love 9:30
a.m. Yeah. Chicago. There's another team that's kind of like up and like they play above where you think they would be, and then I actually picked them to beat the Giants last week. I'm like, that team played a lot better than I thought, and then the Giants just beat them.
They routed them. Yeah.
So Chicago Bears at Minnesota. I could go either way with this, but I'm going to pick Minnesota. I think
Minnesota. Yeah.
I think Justin Jefferson's kind of is going to just run all over them. Lions at both 1-3 teams at New England. I'm going Lions on this one.
I took Lions, yeah.
I think the defense is not, once again. Here's another team that went through 3 quarterbacks: Mac Jones, Brian Hoyer, and then some dude named Bailey Zappi.
Yeah, Zapp. Yeah,
I think it's Zappi.
It is Zappi. Yeah.
Is it okay? Seahawks at Saints. Seahawks all day. Keep that Saints one. That'd be 1-4. That'd be amazing for us. I said that. I said we actually it's 2 double doinks that the Philadelphia Eagles have went in their favor.
Yeah.
Dolphins at Jets.
You know what's odd? I mean, you know what's odd about that game is I'm watching it. I'm going. I know we need the Vikings to win, but I'm also like, I hate the Vikings, and I'm okay if they lose this game.
Yeah.
So when they missed it, I was like, damn it. But okay, we got it. It's better for us.
I like Kirk Cousins' little smug face. The Dolphins and Jets. I know the Jets are 2-2, which I think is a false 2-2.
I think I took the Jets on this one.
I'm taking. I mean, what's this? Are you taking by the cover or outright winning?
Outright winning,
dude. Teddy Bridgewater. We saw what he could do with the Saints.
Sure. He's not a bad quarterback,
and you still have Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
I'm going Miami on that one. It's kind of hard for me to say otherwise. The Falcons and the Bucks are both tied at 2-2, and Tom Brady is angry. I feel
he's
bad.
single.
I feel so. I heard.
I think it might all be bullshit, though.
I didn't hear his bullshit. Somebody said to me from an actual decent source said that this is not uncommon for both sides to have because it's like 2 major corporations.
Sure.
We forget he's really the only quarterback who had a wife who was a famous wife who probably makes more than him.
Oh, more than him, no doubt.
So, yeah, so there's like 2 giant corporations like who merged. Now they're talking about possibly separating. So yeah, you need lawyers.
Yeah,
it doesn't mean they're not going to. But my honest opinion in that situation is, I think he just doesn't want to stop playing. He wants to play till he dies. Like I honestly think he wants to play till he dies.
I think he's just, I think he wants to like not be told what to do. Like he needs to be the manly man. Like how dare you tell me that I can't play football anymore? So I'm going to play just to spite you. No, blah blah blah. Look, it's Giselle. It's Giselle.
Joe, but here's my thing: this is my point. This is my thought.
Fucking Giselle.
I agree with you, Joe. And any other man, I would agree with you. Once again, I always go back to that Michael Jordan thing where he used to like, the owner of the was it the Seattle Supersonics at the time didn't say hi to him at a restaurant, and what did he do? I'm going to go put 60 points up on him, and he did, and he did. Like I think Tom Brady.
Yeah, it's Giselle.
He puts like sooner or later you're gonna be like, dude, you know what, Joe? I just want to grab a pizza and some ice cream. I'm in great shape. I can take one night and have pizza and ice cream. It could hurt me. Dude, he was drinking vodka that was made out of avocados for the love of Pete when he won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I just think he is so obsessive compulsive, maybe, Joe, that nothing else matters to him. I think she's like, listen, come home. I'm hot. Look at these. Mm-hmm. And you have kids. You're 46, 47 years old? Come home.
He's 45. Unless he just had a birthday.
I forget. But whatever. I think it's just like, come home.
Right.
And like somebody said to me, he goes, well, he's going to make a ton of money either way. He's going to go.
Oh, my.
He's making $100,000.
I think he already has a contract.
Yes.
For when he
like $100,000. It's like a 10-year, $100,000 contract.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
$100 million contract.
Sure.
I mean, even the only guy who can retire and get a $100 million contract from retiring. But like, and I think in the back of her head, she's just like, what, you're just going to watch more film now?
All right.
I mean, maybe you don't have to go to the practice, but now you're going to watch film on all teams. Before, you only had to watch one team's worth of film. Now you're going to watch every team's worth of film. I just think this man wants to play football at all costs, and I don't think he cares about the repercussions. His kids
that's what I mean. Like, he wants to be, macho man, that he doesn't care about the consequences. It's going to be his way or no way. He doesn't care about and I'm not going to say he doesn't care about his kids or his wife or anything like that, but he's also selfish enough to say, I'm doing this for me. This is my life, and that's what I'm saying. Do.
He is so uber focused. He will do even things that are selfish and all about him. Vince, who actually we'll be seeing his draft article, I think tomorrow, or it might be out tonight already. He might have put it up. I'm not sure.
Sweet.
Not draft. I keep saying draft. Fantasy football one, so it can help you with your picks and stuff right before the game. Brady's going to go. I think so. I think they're a punching bag for Brady this weekend. He just lost to Pat Mahomes in a bad way. His life's a little upside down. Personally, I think he's just going to make no. Yeah. No. Yeah. Did you guys see Giselle hugging Antonio Brown that
No.
Brown post?
I did not see that.
Did you see the other Antonio Brown post?
I know about it. I didn't really care to go looking for the
Straight out,
Schween,
just straight out whipped out in the middle of like Dubai.
Well, no, he was swimming. I don't know
in
if
the pool.
Right. He was swimming naked. He was already skinny dipping. Like he didn't pull it out. He was already.
He just
naked.
sat there on the edge of the pool with full schlong. Just
That's insane.
Yeah. Love Brady so much for this. He has nothing left to prove. I agree with you, but I don't think he knows that. Vince, my point is, I think he's deranged. He's a psychopath. They have one-track mind. They will.
He looks like Zoolander. Now.
They will. Yeah. They will just walk across hot coal and broken glass for whatever it is they want, and they don't care who or what they hurt. He is a psychopath. I really think he is. I've never seen a man as determined. Like you said, nope, he has nothing to prove. If I'm Giselle, I'm sitting there going, Tom, you've done everything. Nobody's going to top you. I don't think anybody will ever top Tom Brady.
You don't think Jalen could get to 8 rings?
He has the ability to. If he does that, Joe.
It's okay. You can be honest. You can be honest with
Joe, if he can do that, stop. Don't
I'll be honest. He ain't getting no 8 rings.
No, it'd be really difficult. My point is, she's probably like, stop, come home, sex me, like be with me. We have kids. I mean, his kids are what, 30? I'm just saying, like at this point, what's it like having a dad, Tom Brady? I don't know. Couldn't tell you. You guys talk to him more than I do. Yeah, that's probably what it is.
Could be a fair point.
Yes, Freddie. Vince does a great article, and it's actually very informative, guys. So if you're a fantasy football player, you don't know what to do. If you're getting owned, he'll help you out there. There's going to be some more articles coming out this week from EOP. I've already mentioned earlier in the show. I'm not going to read it, but I will show it to you. We're kind of busy here at Edge of Philly Sports in the Painted Lines. There's a Sixers post game going on either right now as we speak or coming up after us. So there's post games for every sport out there. The Phillies ones will continue until they win the World Series. That's how I'm going to put it. Until they win the World Series. And the Flyers one will be starting up next week too, because I believe the Flyers start next week as well. So,
yeah, Flyers are making some noise today. Cutting Cam.
Yo, dead serious. Jalen puts the work in. Like you are 110%. Is Jalen a psychopath though? That's my question, because I really think Tom Brady.
I think he's more of a quiet psychopath.
He's like who's the guy who played Christian Bale?
Wait till you see the pictures I just sent to you on your phone, and then you tell me that Jalen's not a psychopath.
Oh yeah,
these pictures of himself behind him. He's got the one. He's hugging himself.
Oh, hold on. He is.
You know what? I'm gonna bring this up real quick. Sixers did start their preseason game on Monday night, and it was against the Nets. It was the first look at Ben Simmons. I think he finished with like 6 points, 5 rebounds, blah, 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 blah. Doesn't even matter. He showed that he can come back and he can play a little bit. I'm not going to knock him for that. I'll give him his due diligence. I do want to say this, that the Sixers went out there and beat the Nets, and the Nets, a majority of the game, had their big three playing in Durant and Kyrie and Ben, and I believe Patty Mills was playing, and these starters. They had their starters a majority of the time playing. And the Sixers went out there, no Embiid, no Harden, no Tucker. They went out and they handedly won that game.
The coach even said they needed more. He feels he needs preseason more than any other team in the NBA.
Yeah.
Because they were just, they're with listen, they know what they got in Ben Simmons. They're not dummies.
Sure.
And I think they go through a bad spell in the beginning. I think they're going to start kicking his ass. I don't think they're going to. I mean, listen, Nets fans, there's like 7 of them. But I think, you think guys of that caliber are going to put up with the Ben Simmons crap? They didn't have to put up with it. We didn't.
Right.
They're not going to. They're not going to.
The first shots we did see of him that night was him bricking 2 free throws.
What did I say? I texted you guys right away.
Bricking.
Nice to see Ben Simmons stays consistent, guys.
Yeah, all of his points, were in the dunker's position. He wasn't doing much.
I just didn't get down there. Somebody was saying, it was during the halftime show or something. I was watching it, and they're like, well, where do you think Ben Simmons ends up playing? Goes, well, it matters what Ben Simmons wants. Like, no, it doesn't.
Right.
It shouldn't matter where Ben Simmons wants. If that's not what's best for the team, but we don't have to talk about him anymore. He ain't a Sixer. But no, like you said, from what I've seen tonight, watching on the screen,
they
did. It was a final. They did win. Right.
I didn't see the very final score.
It was
close. I know that they were up by a few towards the end.
Yeah, we just start putting the ticker on there. I've been working on a piece of software that we can put the ticker at all times. That's going to be coming down the line. They won 113, 112. Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, and now that's a little bit more of a preseason game, but Embiid and them were playing in the beginning, working out whatever they're working out. But, like, it was nice to see that how deep our bench is, man.
Oh, yeah. Melton looked good.
I mean, that's it. We had 4 or 5 good players, and then it just dropped off. Like, that's what it was. So, I'm excited to see the Sixers team. I'll be honest with you. I felt like we were still a star player away. It's just I want to see how the older guys hold up throughout the season, how they handle them. Like, do they, is there going to be a lot of time management?
I'm fine with it, man. I'm really looking forward to the season.
He was the exact same player. So nice to root against him. Sixers won. Maxi's going to be an all-star this year. Yo, I know we say this. I know it's preseason, but he looks damn good. Maxi looks. Yeah. I mean,
when you're playing with the likes of, still a James Harden and Joel Embiid, you now have these vets in there, and Tucker and Montez Harrell, and D'Anthony Melton. He comes in as a young guy, 3-and-D guy. I mean, when you're surrounding these guys and this type of talent, I mean, how don't you improve? And we've seen all the offseason stuff with Maxi, and he's just out there and he's grinding and he's working on his game. And perfecting it.
Jalen Hurts that's a good comparison. Nonstop.
Yeah, Max. Yeah, 100% going to be an all-star. I forgot all about Toby. Forgot about Tobias.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm really excited about this team coming forward. I mean, it's nice to see that at least 3 of the 4 teams are can be championship competitors.
Right.
I mean, the Phillies. Listen, the World Series would be, I'm not saying a long shot, but they're in the playoffs. They have a chair at the table. They can win.
If the MLB started selling the Phillies World Series tickets tomorrow, I would buy them tomorrow.
Why not? You're gonna get your money back anyway.
Right.
There's no risk to it. Best roster they've had since Butler team, and this team is way deeper with vets. Yeah, dude, that's my thing. Is I was really surprised how they handled it. I'll be honest with you, when they brought in these older guys, I'm just like, man, I don't know what's this mean. But I'm really excited for this team. The Anthony Melton signing, or trade, I should say, that still flies under the radar. That was a really slick trade, and to get him for
number 23,
for a 23 overall pick. I mean, in the scheme of things in basketball, it's like a 3rd round pick in my eyes, compared to the NFL. So, no, I mean, it was huge because we all said that. That's why I said that they were definitely trading it. They need a now player. You're not going to get another Tyrese Maxey. I mean, the fact that they got him, that was huge. But
they've actually struck gold, even before the Tyrese Maxey with Thibault. He was, I believe he was number 21 overall as well. If not, he was like number 22 or 23. But I mean, the Sixers have struck gold right in that range. And to be honest with you, they struck gold again with giving up, number 23 for Melton, because just those 3 right there, Thibault, Maxey, and now Melton, you can include in draft picks right there, 20 to 23, whatever it was.
Sure.
And those are 3 young, developing guys that are really going to contribute to this team going forward.
And PJ Tucker is like, all right, I'll be honest with you in the beginning. I'm like, this is like, it just felt like they're signing this old guy who's past his prime. But I mean, let's see. I mean, it's too early to say anything. Let's see what happens.
Right.
Like, I want to see how they handle him. Like, do they do load management with him? Like, give him a game off here and there because of the depth? I mean, does this allow them to do that now? And since Freddie is listening, hopefully still, Joe, I'm going to ask you: top 3 teams in the East, in the NBA, in your eyes right now.
Of course, I'm going to put the Sixers up there.
Okay, you don't have to put in any order.
Yeah. I want to put the Nets up there, but I mean,
I don't. I say maybe top 5. I don't.
I can't deny.
I say
Durant
Celtics,
and Kyrie, and Kyrie can play every game now this year.
Yeah.
So they're going to be more improved than they were last year. So, I'm throwing the Nets up there.
Top 3.
Yeah, okay. Nets, Sixers, and Bucks.
I was going to say Celtics, Bucks. I have the Nets at 4 or 5.
Okay.
At this point. Like, listen, that means absolutely
Sure.
nothing. I would say, if I had to put in order, top 5. Nets, Cleveland, Celtics, Sixers, Bucks could be maybe interchangeable. If playing on paper.
It's hard to predict what Cleveland's going to do now with Donovan Mitchell there, but I also don't think that you can leave the Heat out of a top 5 discussion.
Oh God, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. So
East is stacked.
So I mean, obviously I named my top 3. Like I'm throwing the Heat in there at number 4.
Give me your 5 then. Your 4 or 5. Heat at 4. You said. Who's your 5th?
I'm gonna say the Bulls.
You have them over the Celtics because you didn't even mention them yet.
I did not mention them because basically fuck Boston. But you know what? It's hard. It's hard not to put the Celtics up there. I'll put Celtics.
Freddie, never be sorry about this. Tyrese Maxey's 2 preseason games, only playing in the first half, 41 points, 15 for 19, 29 minutes. Damn.
It's a preseason game.
I know, but
but again, to that point, I'm talking about the Nets being stacked in game number 1.
But he's also playing against the top tier guys.
It absolutely counts.
It's not like he's playing against guys who aren't. Don't ever sorry about. I asked you, Freddie, the question. You can answer it if you want to. Your top 3 or 5 in the East, right? Like in your eyes, right now, who do you see your top 5? I'll give him a minute to answer if he wants to, but then that'll be it for us tonight. But real quick, guys, like I said earlier, this is the lineup. We are busy. Plenty of content. The website, articles, non-show related. Shane is putting out a ton, and Dives are putting out a ton of breakdowns of the plays from last week. There's just so much content. It's been. If you're not finding sports content at our site, you're terrible at what you do. Don't forget Dolan's Bar, 24 East Sellers Avenue, right there in Ridley Park. Best place to check out in Delaware County. A great Eagles game, a great Phillies playoff game, great food, great wings. Right now, they're going to have the Fall Festival on Sunday, so you can watch the game outside. It's going to be a beautiful day. I think it's going to be high 60, so nice hoodie weather. Come say hi to me. Our boy Spaz and I will be there hanging out. So come check out Dolan's at 24 East Sellers Avenue. PhillySportsTrips.com. They're in Arizona right now. They're out in Arizona, and they have every away game locked up for you if you need to go. You want to head to Chicago, Indy, you name it, they got it. PhillySportsTrips.com. Plus, they have other trips. And maybe keep an eye on the site because if the Phillies start making a push, you might find your way going to a playoff game in another city. And don't forget David R. Cherry, cherryinjurylaw.com, workers' comp, motor vehicle, personal injury, criminal law. 610-565-0300, 610-565-0300. And don't forget the best Eagles game day live right here on the EOP network with the painted lines, pregame, halftime, postgame, kicking ass, taking names. Once again, I want to send a good old thank you out to the South House for having us down there. We will be back down there sooner than you think. It'll be a good time as always. The South House food is awesome. It was funny. Freddie will know about this because he was chiming in when we were talking about it. Dives had a beer. It was a apple cider donut beer.
Okay.
Something sounds very sweet. I'm not big on sweet beers, but it wasn't. So if you like the apple beers, like bases like that,
yeah,
like Angry Orchard or Strongbow was always my go-to back in the day. This was good. It was really good. They have a ton of beers on taps, IPAs, you name it, and the food is phenomenal. Just great. But here's Freddie. So here you go. Sixers, Celtics, Heats, Nets, Bucks. Okay, yeah, pretty
standard.
Yeah, I didn't have the Heat in there. That's probably because I forgot about him. I don't think it was because I didn't believe that.
Sure.
He's going to be a stub. I think stud. William trying to say. Yeah, I think he already is a stud. I think he's going to be a perennial all-star type stud. Like, I think he's everything we wanted in Ben Simmons. To be honest with you, maybe a different type of player. Don't get me wrong, but everything we expected from Ben Simmons, we're getting from Tyrese Maxey.
Yep.
But it is what it is, and he's no longer our problem. I'm Big Al,
and I'm Joe Sheeran.
We out.